And I still remember exactly what it looked like because it changed my view of life. But I remember seeing Tyler, and he sort of comes up to me because he knows that he's showing off, right? And he knows that he's sort of there to like, there's a certain kind of game you do when you really want something solid, and then there's another way you go when you just want to impress people. So you sort of get big visible reactions, which is also kind of moving you in the same direction as something solid, but it's not as effective. So he knew what mode he was in, and he was very, I probably learned this from him, so he's very aware of that. And so he goes, "Watch this." And there's this stunning girl, and she's with this like big muscular guy. Tyler's not muscular. No, he's shorter than this guy, and I can't hear what he's saying because they're sort of on the other side of this small club, and they're sitting on this like kind of like this double day bed sort of thing. So the guy and his girlfriend on this day bed, and Tyler just sort of like sits on the edge of it like this, sort of leans over and just starts saying something. And you can see that the couple is just very dismissive of him. They're like, yeah, yeah, okay. And he's like, he turns around. He's like, actually, and he says something else, and you can't really see what he's doing. And just as this is going, you see the girl is starting to become more, her body language. She's starting to turn towards him. She's kind of sitting up so she can face him. And you can see that she's becoming more interested. And the guy is just becoming more perplexed because like clearly this guy is, Tyler's like below him on the dating, food chain, and he knows this. And his girlfriend is like showing interest, and he can't quite figure out like what's going on. So at first he's sort of like dismissive of Tyler, then he's like concerned. And at some point, Tyler and the girl are lying down on this daybed, sort of like leaned in, talking to each other. And I just remember the guy had like moved to a piano bench kind of thing, and he's talking to a random stranger he doesn't know, and you could just sort of tell he's like, look, this guy thinks he's picking up my girlfriend. And the girl had given him his number. She said like, oh, come to my hotel room or something like that. So yeah, it blew my mind. It made me, I thought, if he can do it, I can do it.
Okay, wait. So now that you know what's behind the scenes, if you were then Tyler, what do you think he saying?
It sounds crazy to me. And to be fair, like Tyler is one of the best. So like he can do stuff that normal humans can't do. Mystery is another one of those people that can do stuff like that. But it's not so much what he said that matters. It almost never is in pickup. It's usually what's going on under the surface. And in some ways, it's actually easier when a guy is there because if a guy is there, you just have to be better than him. If there's no other guy, you have to be better than any potential guy she can imagine. Obviously, there's logistical challenges, there's pros and cons to it. But especially if you're just trying to impress people, uh, it's almost easier because you you sort of befriend the guy in a way that he can't forcibly eject you, right? So you just sort of chat with him more than the girl, right? And then it's like, well, there's sort of this cognitive dissonance where it's like, well, he's maybe not really trying to pick up my girlfriend because he's mostly talking to me. He's kind of ignoring her. He's being like a little bit what might look rude to her, but really it's teasing her, right? You can even sort of commiserate with the guy where you're like, oh my God, is she always like this? How do you live with her? Like little things like that, like a neg that make it seem like you're not trying to pick her up. Meanwhile, her interest is getting piqued. So there's a lot of stuff you can do.
That's interesting. I mean, so what you're saying is that you chat with the girl first, and then you go talk to the guy, nagging the girl, and then you go back talking to the girl.
So you talk to the group first. So you always, always, always talk to the group. Anytime you single one person out in a group, it's very weird for the rest of the group, right? Imagine if you and your friends are there and someone comes up and only starts talking to you, you feel very awkward, right? Because you've been removed from the group. But you would always want to engage the whole group. I mean, the start of a good pickup is making it so that everybody wants you there, or at least will tolerate you. But if everybody's thrilled that you're there, they're all going to make it easier for you.
So I think now that we're into deep with this pickup thing, what do you think is the sort of biggest misconception with